Hey guys, I'm Dustin, and today I'm going to share with you 3 things I wish I had known before buying an e-bike in 2022. Stick around. Hey guys, so today I'm going to tell you 3 things I wish I had known before buying an e-bike in 2022. But before I do, hit that subscribe button below. Stay in touch with us here at the channel as we discuss everything about bikes, e-bikes, and everything cycling. All right, so today I'm going to talk to you about 3 things I wish I had known before getting an e-bike in 2022. E-bikes are becoming so popular. You're seeing them everywhere. Teenagers are riding. Riders over 60 are getting back into riding because of e-bikes, growing in popularity hugely. And there's a lot of things to know, let's be honest. Now, I've got tons of bikes. We actually manufacture bikes. And I want to tell you, before I got an e-bike, before we made bikes, I got an e-bike. And there's a lot of things to know, but I've narrowed it down to 3 things you must know before buying an e-bike in 2022 actually. Now, number 1 thing you must know, number 1 thing I wish I had known before buying an e-bike is the fact that there's different motor sizes and the motor can come in multiple locations. So on this e-bike right here, the hub is the motor. It's a rear hub motor. But what I didn't know is that motors can also come what's called in the mid-drive here. So there's a lot of different types of bikes out there. You can either have this mid-drive or the rear hub. Now, the question also is, what's the difference? I didn't know. I'll explain it to you today a little bit. It's going to be a lot more expensive, not a lot more, but 10, 15, 20% more if you opt for the mid-drive motor. The rear hub motors tend to be less expensive. Why? Honestly, I don't really know. Something to do on the manufacturing and design side. The torque output of a mid-drive motor is greater than the rear hub motor. So there's obviously something in that secret sauce on how it's built that gives you more torque. It's great for uphills, heavier riders. If you're going to tow things, they do well. Now, the catch, you're going to pay more money. So it's really important to consider how you're going to use your e-bike. Actually, the first e-bike I got was a mid-drive. I paid a lot of money for it. Now I regretted it because I feel like I overpaid for something that I don't need. Now, that's not for all riders. That's why I'm saying it's most important that you think about what you need. Mid-drives are really ideal if you're doing a lot of uphill and, like I said, towing, or your heavy riders, something to consider. The rear hub's going to do just fine for everyday hills, flat riding. If you don't need that extra torque, you can save yourself a few bucks and go with the rear hub motor. The other thing I'll say that I wish I had known is your state, city, or local area is going to have laws in place now about e-bike motors. So it's super important that you look up what size motor, what type of speeds are even allowed with that motor. You may, as an example here in California, you cannot have a motor over 750 watts on the street with an e-bike. Now, off-road, in certain mountain ranges, other places you're going uphill, they may allow higher wattage. Also, you have to pay attention to the national parks, places you're going to ride. They may have their own regulations there as well. So I wish I had known that. Again, it's important to know before you spend a bunch of money if you can even use it in the place that you want to use it. All right, moving on. Number 2 thing I wish I had known before I bought my e-bike is the battery. The battery is like singly one of the most important things, between the motor and the battery. And the thing about the battery is you really need to know your riding. What kind of riding are you going to do? The battery is another piece that can really drive the cost of the e-bike up. And it also can add a lot of weight to the bike. So are you going to go short range? Are you going to go long range? What kind of rides are you looking to do? Because depending on the size of this battery, you are going to pay more money if you have a larger battery. Now, batteries are measured in what's called watt hours. They have 2 other measurements called volts and amp hours. You take the volts and the amp hours, multiply it to get you to a watt hour number. The lower the volts, the lower the amp hour, the lower your watt hour. In this case, this is a 48 volt, 10.4 amp hour. You take those 2 numbers, that gets you to your watt hour. Now, if you go up to a 52 volt, 21 amp hour, that's a very large battery. You're going to pay more for the bike. But you want to make sure you try to match your riding habits to the size of your battery, or else you're going to pay a lot more money for it. I also wish I had known that with my first e-bike, because I think I bought too small of a battery. I ended up wanting to ride a lot farther. The other option is you can always buy second batteries and keep them with you. But again, if you're going to be transporting your bike, you might want a smaller battery because it's going to weigh less. So I wish I had known that. There's a lot of battery options out there. Don't forget, you can consider that. Now, last thing I wish I had known before buying an e-bike, there are so many shapes and sizes of e-bike out there. Do your research, search the internet. You can find what you are looking for. There are like hybrid type off-road e-bikes, there's comfort e-bikes, there's cruiser e-bikes, and check out 630. We got all these different e-bikes. We have a huge selection, 630.com. But I say that because, again, you can really get specific. The number one thing I always suggest to people before buying an e-bike is know the kind of riding you're gonna do. Now, it may be hard for you to know the kind of riding you're gonna do if you've never had an e-bike. I totally get that. But just spend a few minutes and really try to think, am I gonna do trail riding? Am I gonna do here? Especially if you're spending $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $3,000, and this is a product like a car, you're not gonna trade it in 5 months. You're gonna wanna keep it. Now, you can always sell it and get some of the money back. That's totally an option. But I just ask, you think really hard about where you may ride, because in this day and age, you can get fatter tires, thinner tires, different riding positions, comfort positions. So it's always important that you think about what's number one to you, and then do your research, do your due diligence, search the internet, because now there's so many e-bikes out there. I wish I had known that, because 3 years ago, there weren't as many e-bikes as there is today. And when I bought my first e-bike 4 years ago, the selection was much less than it is today. So huge opportunity to do your research. So the 3 things I wish I had known before buying an e-bike. Number 1, motor comes in 2 locations, different sizes. Make sure you try to match the power that you need to your riding. Number 2 thing I wish I had known, battery comes in many sizes and locations that I didn't mention as well. So think about the size of the battery you need, because you don't want to overpay for a battery that's too large for the type of riding you're going to do. Number 3 thing I wish I had known, e-bikes come in all shapes, sizes, tire sizes. Find the e-bike that's right for you, and we can help you with that. Go to sixthreezero.com. You can browse the selection, but you can also take our proprietary body fitting quiz. It takes under 2 minutes, answer a few questions about your body and your life, and we'll recommend the perfect e-bike for you. If you have any other additional questions, you can also comment below, email us, the team at sixthreezero.com, call us 310-982-2877. And in addition to that, we have a 90-day test ride your e-bike policy. If you don't love your e-bike within 90 days, send it back. No questions asked, no money out of your pocket. If you don't love your bike, we don't want you keeping it. Lastly, join our 630 community Facebook peddlers group and download our app. Before you purchase, it's a great place to talk to other e-bike riders, ask them questions, get their opinion about e-bikes so you can make the right decision. And on the app, you can see how others are riding their e-bikes, how many miles they're logging. Then after you get your bike, man, it's a ton of fun. You can make friends, track your rides, compete on our leaderboard. It is a blast. All right, so thank you for sticking around, and don't forget, it's your journey, your experience. Enjoy the ride.